Well, hey, it's time for Ask the Tech Guys. I'm Leo Laporte. Coming up, Scott Wilkinson answers the eternal question, why are there never enough HDMI ports?
And I'm Micah Sargent, and I'm going to show you how to use your Apple Watch to control media on your Mac.
And then, why were Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell sleeping in the Logan Airport the other day? Johnny Jett explains. All that coming up and a lot more this week for Ask the Tech Guys.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Ask the Tech Guys with Micah Sargent and Leo Laporte, episode 1986, recorded Sunday, August 6th, 2023. Diamond Tweeters. Ask the Tech Guys is brought to you by Miro. Miro is your team's online workspace to connect, collaborate, and create together. Tap into a way to map processes, systems, and plans with a whole team. Get your first 3 boards for free to start creating your best work yet at Miro.com/podcast. And by Electric e-bikes. Make every day feel like an endless summer vacation with an XP 3.0 from Electric. Visit electricebikes.com to learn more and explore the epic models Electric has to offer. And by Fastmail. Reclaim your privacy, boost productivity, and make email yours with Fastmail. Try it now free for 30 days at fastmail.com/twit. Well, hey, how are you today? It's time for Ask the Tech Guys. I'm Leo Laporte.
And I'm Micah Sargent, and this is the show where we take your tech questions and we try to answer them at the very least.
We toss them in a salad. We sprinkle on some chat room suggestions, and then we serve it up to you and hope it satisfies.
Like a nice candy bar whose name I won't say.
Snickers?
Oh, you got it. Yep.
888. Oh, I'm sorry. I've been playing too much Jeopardy. Every time you give me a clue, I will give you what is Snickers. 888-724-2884 is the phone number.
You can also head to call.twit.tv. That's the URL or the URL, depending on who you ask. Head there on your phone if you would like to get in touch with us. It's a very easy way to do so. You can give permission for the camera, the microphone, and you're right there on your phone. You can talk to us. We'll bring you up on Zoom. It's a great chance to show yourself and
it's
have
almost as easy as joining Mastodon. And then we have an email, which is easier. You know, we got an email from a guy who was freaking out because he couldn't find emails for you and me.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, there it is, atg@twit.tv.
We also say it a lot during the show.
So, I don't know. Anyway, we got your email.
Yes, we did.
Because he sent it to the CEO of the company saying, I can't find the email for Leo and Micah. How do I get on Ask ATG, the tech guys, at twit.tv. That's the email. Or ATTG.
That also works.
There's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, but there are a bunch that will work. Just try it. See what happens. You'll probably get there.
So, shall we take a call or should we?
Do you have any news you want to share? Or
we forgot. We do that, don't we? I forgot.
We usually talk about stuff in
What's
the news.
the big news? Well, now, this is just trouble in the making. This morning, Elon Musk tweeted, anybody who gets in trouble with their job for something they tweet, we will represent you in court at an unlimited amount of money.
Stop.
No limit. We will represent you in court. Now, folks, I just want to say, do not take this as a license to go on Twitter. I'm sorry, X.
Yeah.
Say something bad about your boss and then expect Elon could defend you, because Elon ain't going to defend you.
He just says things.
He says stuff. Because you know why? Because people like us will repeat it.
Yeah.
Google has offered on-campus housing to hotel. It's an actual hotel. So Google built a hotel in Mountain View for Google employees who are coming back to the home office from all over the world so they could stay there. Now, trying to make work from home less desirable. They're making people come back to work.
Right.
They're telling employees, oh, good news, you can stay in the hotel and have amenities, and there's no commute. It's only $99 a night. Some of the responses were, oh, great, so I can work for Google and then give them some of their money back every night.
Yeah.
No.
Here's my problem with this kind of idea, because I know that some folks, especially in other countries, it's a little bit more common, right? You work and then you stay in the company provided housing. But the problem with that, as I see it, is it does provide for a little bit of a cult-like environment where you are constantly surrounded by the people who you work with. You've got all of this sort of over-the-top kind of, Google is good. We're providing for this. You don't get to have that perspective of being away from everything.
That's actually what's wrong with Silicon Valley is it's this hermetically sealed bro culture. And that's why Silicon Valley so often comes up with duds that the rest of the country or the rest of the world goes, why do you think that was a good idea? Like, I don't know, the Vision Pro. Oh, don't get mad at me if I say that. But I think Apple, that's one of them.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, we'll see. I could be wrong. Hey, good news, Voyager. Whew, we got it back.
The 2 degrees have been reckoned.
The 2 degrees of separation. So I guess a cosmic ray hit something or whatever, but the antenna... Seriously.
Sorry, I just love how that a cosmic ray or whatever did a thing and
hit it, and the antenna got off because they send commands to it, right? And it was 2 degrees off. But when you are how many billions of miles? 12 billion miles away.
I go like this, and that laser.
12 billion.
It's just
12 billion. So they lost touch, but they weren't worried because they thought of this ahead of time, and they know every few months. Voyager will realign its antenna.
Oh.
So they knew that by October, I think it was October 12th, that the antenna would be realigned. But they nevertheless, they missed the little guy. So they kept sending signals out. And Voyager saw it. On Wednesday, NASA's Deep Space Network, not like Deep Space Nine, it's just the Deep Space Network, sent a new command in hopes of repointing the antenna using the highest power transmitter at the huge radio dish in big old Australia. Enough
putting it in all caps.
Hyperbole there. That big dish in Australia. And they were able to reach Voyager. 18 hours it takes for a speed of light signal to reach it. 18 hours to get back. The long shot paid off yesterday or day before the spacecraft started talking again.
Oh. Whew.
So I looked it up. I call it Voyager because, it's Voyager 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Voyager 1 and 2 were probes that they're going to go off into deep space. And I call it Voyager because Star Trek, the original Star Trek movie, right? Is this a spoiler now, John? This is more than 30 years ago.
I mean, you can ask. I no.
I won't. You know what? I don't want to spoil it because if you haven't seen it, it's a great movie. Anyway, there's this thing called Voyager.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out it was Voyager. It just was going and it created brains or something. Anyway, it got smart. So I thought, I wonder if this is that Voyager. It isn't. The movie's Voyager, movie came out in 1979. Movie's Voyager was launched in 1999, 20 years later, was Voyager 6.
Okay, got it.
There is no Voyager 6, so don't worry. It will not come back to haunt us. I thought that was an interesting story.
Yeah.
Did you on Tech News Weekly cover the superconductor?
We tried. We reached out. We did not hear back. I think that they're very busy right now. And in fact, the people who originally claimed it are not talking to anybody.
Yeah. The South Korean researchers who claim to have discovered something that would, and this is why everybody's very excited, literally change our world. A room temperature superconductor. If your computer could have superconductors in it, it would, I don't know, it would be faster and cooler and I don't know. It was big things.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Whenever you talk to scientists who try to translate sort of hard science into practical impact, they're all saying, honestly, a superconductor, it's a long way even. So we almost get excited about it because it's a superconductor.
Well,
but
it
nobody
would change
knows.
the world. It would change, but so would fusion power.
Right. Yes.
Room temperature fusion or cold fusion, as they call it, would change the world. Right now, that's how the sun makes energy, but we haven't figured out how to do it at less than 18 million degrees Fahrenheit.
Right,
So
exactly.
It's not a real, you'd have to put more energy in to get the energy out. But if they could get it down where you don't put as much energy in, you get more energy out. And everybody says, we've seen this before, both with superconductors and cold fusion. I found it. And then, no, I didn't. I found it. No,
it's a pretty regular thing. Yeah.
Apparently, people find superconductors at room, low temperature or high temperature. I don't know what it is. Room temperature.
Yeah, room would be the odd duck. Low is common, but it's very, very low. So even something that's not as low, what was it? It was, I think,
127 degrees, above 127 degrees Celsius, 400 Kelvin. Anyway.
Oh, that's what it was. So when they tested this alleged substance, there were some folks who said that they could get it to be a superconductor at negative 163 degrees Celsius, which is
pretty cold.
Still very cold, but in comparison to what we need to normally be at is a lot higher up the chain. So that could be impressive if that was the case. What I found fascinating is how they go about trying to confirm the nature of the substance using
magnetism.
Magnetism and X-ray X-ray diffraction. That's the term. And so you kind of look at the structure of it, and if it lines up with what they've created, then it could be this. But what they're seeing is, even the folks who have tried to test this afterward, their structures do not line up with what the team in South Korea made. And so they're kind of wondering, did they actually pull this off and there's some way they were able to do it? Or is it fake and they kind of just figured out what they needed to make it look like so that it would do that? This is what's kind of wild about this. When you get into sort of deep science like this, physics science, I mean, you have to wonder too, does the effect of the gravitational pull at a specific location and whether there was a solar ray, you know what I mean, that hit it at the same time, does that play into it? We don't know. Like, those conditions could have an impact, and that's why it perfectly lined up in that way.
So the thing that to me is a little bit interesting, first of all, it's just yet another one of these. They happen frequently. Yeah. I'm looking at a story that just came out in Nature where the guy says, yeah, don't hold your breath. But what's interesting is, because it's common everyday household chemicals, copper, lead, phosphorus, and oxygen combined, a lot of home chemists have been attempting. And there's people on Twitter who are attempting, some whom say, oh, yes, it worked. The Meissner effect, it's floating and all that stuff. Let's wait. This was a preprint article. I think we learned during COVID that when you see something preprint that's not yet peer-reviewed, take it with a hefty chunk of salt. We'll see. We'll see. But I understand people's excitement, because it would change everything. It would power lines would no longer have to lose power. It would be incredible, but it's not. I wish the world would suddenly deliver us some amazing revelation. Robert Heinlein, I always loved Robert Heinlein. What was the book where they had these little wavy things that pull energy from the air using magic? I don't remember which book that was. Stranger in a Strange Land? I can't remember. But it was cars and everything would have these little antennas that would wave like this and pull energy from the air, and it transformed society.
Mm-hmm. That would be nice.
That would be nice. Society could use some transformation. All right. That's the news.
Oh, there was one practical thing that we came across. I saw it in your list there, and I thought this was good. Google is working on a way to help you remove your own information from search. That is
good news. We should talk about that, yes.
So this is a very practical application, unlike superconductors in the short term, where Google will kind of keep a list of your information and notify you should that information pop up in Google search. Now, it's important to understand that this is talking about private information like phone numbers, addresses, that kind of thing, versus public information that's available. And if you go through the process, which there's going to be an addition to the Google app, but also there's a dedicated web page that you can visit, and that's goo.gle/results about you. And when you go to this page, then it will start to pull up results, and it will show you what you can or can't remove. You can then go into a Google search your own name, and the three dots that are available there on the side of the search result, you can say, hey, I would like to have this removed. And then Google will either tell you how to go about doing it, or in the case of it being something that Google's able to do, will help make that possible. So yeah, I think this is a really cool idea, and it's good for folks who...
Did you do it?
I one of our sponsors, Delete Me, I've used them, so I actually don't have any personal identifying information online anymore because of them. I still am able to be found in search because it does the normal stuff of like blogs that I've been on and of course podcasts. But what it doesn't have is like my phone number or my home address, and that's because I use Delete Me. But now Google is also helping to do this. So I wonder if I typed in Leo Laporte address, home address, if it would pop up with your home address.
Don't tell me if it does, because I don't want to know.
Okay, I will not tell you if it does.
I'm sure it does.
It definitely does.
Yeah. No, actually, fortunately, it says our business address.
Well, but
below it's my address. Yeah,
because it's all of those background check websites are there.
Pictures,
but you'll be able. Yeah,
there's my phone number. Oh my God, these are all data brokers.
Yes.
This is the problem. We were talking about data brokers, Nuber and virtual globetrotting and fast background checking, been verified, Radaris, Unmask, People Finder Free, Coco Finder. I gave up a long time ago. I think I probably should use our sponsor, but I just gave up.
Yeah.
I figured anybody who comes to my house will find out why I have gun turrets mounted on the roof.
Right.
That'll be it.
You know, that's the one of several reasons. It's also the rabid raccoons that you keep in the moat in front. That's why I don't ever come visit.
Yeah. Yeah. That moat really has turned out to be useful. They had alligators, but we decided it was too hard to keep them fed.
And the mosquitoes with Zika too.
The Zika virus. Yeah. So
don't go to Leo's house. But next to each URL, you'll see the little 3 dots that are stacked on top of each other. You click on that and say...
And it doesn't remove it from the source. It removes it from Google search.
Well, this is the thing. It will work to do both. So Google will get your request, but then it will also walk you through the process of how you would submit it to this company to be able to pull that information off. So
that's a lot of work.
It is. Yes, it's involved. So you would want to go through that process if you want to, but I think a lot of people will. I would imagine that a lot of people may not have as much information as you have online. So it wouldn't take as long.
I'm a public figure, so I figure, you're out of luck if you're a public figure. You're a public figure too.
But Delete Me. I mean, I'm not even trying to just because they're a sponsor. Like they actually, that's because they have human beings who are going through.
Humans need to do it
and sending that stuff away. But Google's going to help with the automated part of that. So yeah, check it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have picked up on Jeff from somewhere to see if our first caller. Oh wow!
Did you really wear it? Were you actually wearing that, or is that photoshopped?
No, that's real.
Sorry, for folks who are listening, they're going, "What is he talking about?"
That's what you find if you search for Leo and a dress. It's not really a dress.
In the Discord, there is
it's tie-dyed long johns.
Yeah, tie-dye onesie,
which I still have. I wear it sometimes when I feel like in a festive mood.
Don't you always wear it when you do your Peloton workouts?
I do. I do. I do. Jeff, are you there?
I'll take it to an intimate.
I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, where are you calling from?
I'm in Rockland County, New York. How you doing?
Great to see you. Great to hear you, Jeff.
Welcome to the show.
I'm the one who actually called from the Tesla a couple of weeks ago. Remember?
Oh yes, the
Tesla
whole family on board. Yeah.
Are you still driving, or did you get to your destination?
No, I'm shopping with the wife, so I'm
nice.
bored to death.
Yeah, you're in the miserable man chair. I like that chair. I sit in that a lot. Yeah,
that's right.
Every store has one. Yeah. What can we do for you, Jeff?
That's right. No, I called last time just a update. I was able to take that 08 Mac iMac and turn it into a Chromebox.
It worked
perfectly, by the way.
It worked.
Awesome.
Sweet. I'm really glad to hear that.
And you used the software from Google, or where did you get the Chrome OS?
I used Flex. So it was right from Google.
Yeah, they bought Neverware and they created Chrome Flex. Well, that's fantastic news, and it's a perfect Chromebook.
Oh, it is. It is, and the screen is amazing.
Yeah.
I have it. I was showing underwater footage from Deerfield Beach, Florida. You see all the fish, like a fish tank when it's not being used. It's really cool.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for the update.
So really, I do have a.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
You're welcome. I do have a quick question. We're going away soon, and can you recommend? I have aftershocks, but can you recommend like maybe earbuds that are waterproof, like IP8 IPX8 or something. That
You want to swim with them?
I have the aftershock. Well, yeah. I mean, we're going to be probably in the pool, not really swim, like maybe.
But splashing.
Bobble in the water back and forth.
Okay, yeah.
Splashing.
Yeah, the aftershocks actually are
I have
the ones I would have recommended. Nice thing about those is their bone conductance. They don't go in your ear; they go over the top of your and put on and land on your temple, which means you can hear the kids saying, "Daddy, Daddy, help me!"
Yeah,
but still listen to your podcasts.
You want it to be personal listening, not group listening.
Yeah, like inside ear. I mean, I have AirPods, of course, but I don't want to. Those I know aren't waterproof. I just want to cheap. Not even cheap, but a pair that
I see Instagram ads all the time for people swimming in various devices, but the only ones I know of that claim to be that are the aftershocks. I haven't tried it.
I'm looking at some articles online just to see what the recommendation is, and then I can go, oh, I like that brand,
Yeah.
Jabra makes a couple of pairs of true waterproof, not just water resistant, but true waterproof. So that would be one brand. The other brands on here, I'm not feeling too great about. But yeah, Jabra apparently makes a couple of options.
Yeah, then you could actually, if you want, submerge. Oh, have fun. Where are you going?
Yeah. I'm taking a cruise to Bermuda.
Nice.
It's kind of nice. The family.
That's nice.
Yeah. First trip really after COVID. We used to go a lot, but now we're kind of trying it again.
I like Bermuda. It's cooler than you think. It's not, of course, I guess you're used to the weather because it's roughly the same latitude as you. So
yeah,
going straight out.
But I did read, obviously, that Bluetooth doesn't work underwater. So I'm underwater. I know.
That's interesting.
Your podcast. But,
that's interesting. I wonder how these Jabras, maybe they have some memory that they take it with them. I don't know.
Yeah, never heard that.
Yeah.
We'll include the Jabra Elite 7 Pro or the IP57 rated. That's pretty wild.
Yeah. Scooter X is giving us some links to underwater waterproof headphone reviews. We'll put those in our show notes too. Tom's Guide has a pick. I don't have any experience with anything except the aftershocks, which I do like. Hey, have a great trip to Bermuda. What fun.
Yeah, safe travels.
Thank you so much. I love your show.
Thank you. Take care. All right, Jeff. Thank you. Scott Wilkinson's coming up, our home theater guru, in about 15 minutes. Also, we're going to go traveling with Johnny Jett. Maybe he'll know.
He might, yeah.
He was just down the road a piece, but then he left, so he can't come in studio.
Well, how rude.
Yeah. How woo.
How woo. Thank you.
Yeah, watch out for the Bermuda Triangle, Jeff, and wear your shorts.
Yes.
Because apparently that's the thing in Bermuda. That's a bad joke.
I don't get it.
You never heard of Bermuda shorts?
Oh, Bermuda shorts. Okay, yeah. Got it.
I'm stalling because I guess I'll do an email.
Let's do an email. Oh, actually, is now a good time? Yeah, we've got time.
Now's a good time.
So someone wrote us in 1,000 different places. And what I loved about this, because sometimes you get a call or a question, and the call or the question is like, my phone's not working, help, right?
Yeah, that's not useful.
Not useful. No. Sometimes, though, you get a question that is so specific and so actual that you are in equal parts celebrating, but also lamenting the fact that you probably aren't going to be able to help because there's not something specific or particular to what they want. So someone wrote in, and they are a person who does sort of investigation of buildings and is an inspector, essentially. And they take photographs of their inspections, and then they need to go back to these photographs later and look at them. But here's what they wanted. They wanted a way for the camera, the digital camera that they're using, to not just create photo file names, but actually watermark the photo with numbers. So 00001, 00, and to be able to reset it for each new investigation inspection that they're doing, right? This is the other thing. They didn't want a software program that would do it afterward. They didn't want anything.
Chain of evidence, they need to have it.
Yes, and they wanted it to happen in that moment, and they wanted it to be watermarked on the photograph, not just the file name. So I did a lot of research to see if there were any cameras that would provide this ability to watermark the photo. Again, they didn't want it processed afterward. And I also, tried to think of some other clever ways of making this happen.
Chain of custody in the court. You have to show, we didn't burn this in earlier. This was actually a picture of Mikah and his paramour that I shot through the window at this time and date, as it says.
Yes. And so the good thing is, like, sometimes that metadata can be admissible, but this person wanted it for the sake of ease of use and everything. And they said that cameras used to do this, but that they have not been able to find a camera that does this. All the point shoots used to have settings to do that. Right. Yeah. So after I came up with nothing, I reached out to the very knowledgeable Ant Pruitt and asked Ant, and Ant confirmed that cameras these days don't do this, and started to offer up some software options to whenever the photos get put on.
It's easy to do that after the fact. Yeah, we've talked about programs that'll do that.
And so I explained that's not what he wanted to do. And so Ant provided a suggestion for something that might be helpful in this situation when it comes to organizing the photos. So Ant sent this to me kind of quickly to tell me what was up. And I said, I would love for you to record that so we can play it back on the show. So let's
get Ant's answer.
Hey there, tech guys. Ant Pruitt here. And I wanted to step in and help out with one of the questions that we received here on Ask the Tech Guys. Regarding having a watermark in camera for your photography, I can't necessarily say that's a good idea. So you're probably not going to see that offered on most camera bodies that are out there. And that's because there's a lot of caveats. You put watermarks on things and it depends on the client. Some clients want watermarks. Some clients don't want watermarks. Some clients want watermarks to have a specific size and framing and so forth. And a lot of that is just easier to do in post-processing. Now, what you do have the option of is updating the copyright information in camera for your different images that are captured on your SD card. But the caveat is that's not a watermark. That's just copyright information, and it shows up as part of the file metadata. And so that does not necessarily answer your question. I get that you're trying to find a way to better organize the shots for your projects. And I thought about a scenario that I've been in a time or three in the past with my photography, and it's about shooting some public events for clients or what have you. There's been an instance where I would want to film a particular room at an event and know that I need to have that framed a certain way and so forth. And then right after that, I would shoot, say, a particular group of people and want to have that framed a certain way because the client is going to want to post these on social media or post these on their website. So there's different things that I had to consider as far as the final output. So for me to organize that, if I knew I was going to be in a particular room or setting or what have you, I would typically just take a good old fashioned buck slip, write down what I'm about to shoot, time, date, what have you, and take a picture of that sheet of paper as the first image inside of that series. Go and do the shoot. And when I'm done, I would take a picture of my hand, which would essentially just pull up a dark frame.
Kind of like a stop.
Just take a picture of that. And that basically closes out the series. And when it's time to go on to the next series, I would do the same thing. Either just take a picture of my hand or take a picture of a note, go on, shoot all of the couple hundred images or what have you, close out the series, and I'm done. So when I'm inside of Lightroom, I'm able to see the different thumbnails inside of Lightroom as my image organizer, and I can go ahead and set up tags. So what I'll do is let me just show you my screen real quick on how I use it, just with a couple of images here on my computer. So let's see if we can switch the screen here. Okay, so these are some random images that I just shot fairly recently. And I know, say this group here from image number 12 or what have you, I wanted to have these for reels or social media in the vertical format. And ideally, I would have like a frame that is just a blank frame right before it, so I can see it really easily here inside of the grid. And the next thing I would do, I would just click on the first image and click on the last image in the group so it highlights all of them. And inside of Lightroom, I can put in key tags or keywords here and just say reels or something like that. And later on down the road, it would allow me to come into Lightroom or whatever digital asset manager that you're using and just search by keywords, and it'll pull all of those images up and allow you to, do your post-processing and editing and exporting to however you may need to export them out to get it done for that particular job. I hope that helps you out. I know it didn't quite give you the answer that you're looking for. Again, there are a lot of third-party apps on smartphones that allow you to do this type of thing. I don't recommend it because it's a little bit hairy here and there on performance wise, but if you're going to be dealing with camera bodies and dealing with the images, I highly recommend just working through the power of whatever digital asset manager you're using.
Yeah.
All right.
This isn't the
Thanks
right
again,
answer.
for sending in your question to Ask the Tech Guys. Yeah, take care.
So was this guy a private eye, did you say?
No, he just takes photos of mold and stuff. And
he was like a building contractor, I think it was.
Yeah.
So the real issue is, depending on where you're using this stuff, if you're going to take it to court, they're not going to allow it to be anything that could be fudged, which means that's why he can't use EXIF. It's all the data, the creation date's in the EXIF of every photo taken by every camera or camera phone. It's already there, but that can be edited.
You can also add a watermark after the fact, though.
Yeah, but you can tell so there used to be cameras, and there aren't many, and no camera phone that I know of will do this. The Moto G was the last one that would do this, where it would burn the date and time onto the image as you take it. And the court can say, oh yeah, we know that that's legit. It's not been modified. It has been added in Photoshop. Presumably an expert can look at it and say, yeah, that's from the camera. So it depends on what the level of evidence that this guy needs.
Right. If
they're going to court to challenge, to say, hey, we got mold and they didn't remediate and I want my money back. And the court says, let me see the images. It has to be something that the date and time could not have been modified after the fact. So taking a picture and then having it be in the series, all of that stuff makes it a lot harder to prove chain of custody. You
almost need to just use an old camera.
I think you need to use an old point and shoot camera to do this.
Like the library ones.
Most old point and shoot cameras did have this ability to burn the date and time in. I've had this question before on the show years ago from private eyes. That's why I was asking.
That's where it's coming from for you.
It's very common with a private eye that you want to submit in court proof. You see, Your Honor, this is a picture of the accident as it happened and see the date and time. I'm not, this didn't happen afterwards. And so, but I've just checked while we were talking, no camera phone does that anymore. The Moto G was the last model that I know of that did that. But lots of old point and shoots at least did that. You could probably look at the specs for point and shoot cameras. People still make them. I don't know how much longer they're going to make them, but people still make them. And that was certainly a feature in most point and shoots back in the day. What Ant's saying is right. Nobody really wants that, except
this very particular case.
Right.
So it's frustrating.
Yeah. DP Review has a thread from 2016. It's kind of old. I'm glad, by the way, to say that DP Review is still alive.
Yeah, that's
They were acquired. But this is exactly the kind of thing we'd go to DP Review for, because you could go look at all the cameras and you could filter it by features like that. But here's a DP Review cameras that can do watermarks as they shoot. Admittedly, this is from 7 years ago. But there are some camera mentions here. And maybe some of them would still be available in stores. Or you could look for something, a modern version of the same camera. This used to be something people wanted. Not anymore.
Right.
Ant's right. I mean, nobody really wants this, except.
I'm curious. I'd love to speak to a lawyer too to see what they say about like how a modern
courts may have
it now.
Yeah, but the problem with, every image now, modern image has date of creation in the EXIF. But the problem is it's very, very
that
easy
can be changed easily
to modify the EXIF and leave no trace of the fact that it was modified. So that probably is not admissible in court.
Yeah. At this point, it's kind of like should anything digital be admissible?
Isn't that an interesting question? Yeah. I'm stipulating that somehow some expert would have to be able to look at that watermark and say, oh yeah, that's from the camera.
That's for sure real because of the bleed of the orange.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing they're looking at, Wow. What a great question. I'm going to take a little ad break, and then when we come back, I think it's time to talk home theater. What do you think?
I think that sounds great.
All right. Our show today brought to you by Miro. Oh, I know Miro. I love Miro. M-I-R-O. Quick question. Are you and your team still going from tab to tab, tool to tool, losing brilliant ideas and important information along the way? That's a bad... there's a theory in the world that when you go through a door, you forget. Because, this is the theory, the door is a context shift. And when your mind has to shift context, often details are left in the old context. That's why this doesn't work. That's why you need Miro. Miro is the collaborative visual platform that brings all your great work together in one context, no matter where you are, whether you're working from home, in a hybrid workspace, or even in different time zones, everything comes together in one workspace online. So your team is all on literally the same page. At first glance, you might look at Miro and say, oh, yeah, it's just a simple digital whiteboard. Oh, no, my friend, no. Miro's capabilities are so much more than that. What it really is a visual collaboration tool packed with features for the whole team to build on others' ideas and build for the future. Plus, with the integrations of Miro, everything you're already using, all those contexts can be brought into the Miro page. So whether it's your Google Docs, we use it with Zapier and Google Docs. No matter what you're using, you can easily have it automatically imported and updated in the Miro. That's really cool. It shortens time to launch. Your customers get what they need faster. With Miro, you need one tool to see your vision come to life. Planning, researching, brainstorming, designing, feedback cycles. It can all live on a Miro board. Miro has so many built-in capabilities. You may not need those integrations. And, of course, if you're in different time zones, what work that you do in the middle of the night in one time zone appears in the middle of the day in the other time zone. Everybody knows what's going on. Faster input, too, means faster outcomes. Miro users report the tool increases project delivery time, increases project delivery speed by 29%. You get the project done 29% faster. View and share the big picture overview in a cinch. When everyone has a voice, everyone can tap into a single source of truth. That keeps your team engaged, invested, and most importantly, happy. Cut out any confusion on who needs to do what by mapping out processes, roles, and timelines. You can do that with several templates, including Miro's swim lane diagram. A lot of people love that. Strategic planning becomes easier when it's visual and accessible. Tap into a way to map processes, systems, and plans with the whole team so they not only view it, but have a chance to give feedback as well. And man, if you're exhausted with meeting fatigue, who isn't? Miro users report saving up to 80 hours per user per year. That's like 2 weeks of vacation extra per year just by streamlining conversations and feedback. They even have a little timer for your Zoom calls. You're going to love it. Ready to be part of more than 1 million people who use Miro every month? 1 million people. Get your first 3 boards for free. Oh, I didn't mention that. I left the best for last. Your first 3 boards are free forever. Start working better together at Miro.com/podcast. Miro.com/podcast. I just thought of a team that this would be great for is the Below Deck. They have that preference sheet meeting.
Yeah,
and they have to read the preference, and the chef's always forgetting they don't eat mushrooms. You put it in a Miro board.
That would be good.
Everybody has it all the time.
Oh, I love that.
We just solved
We'll have to start.
Actually, I think the people who produce Below Deck
they'd be upset if you did that.
They like the Discord. You don't need Discord in your business. You need Miro. Miro.com/podcast. Okay, kids, let's say hello to Uncle Scott. Scott Wilkinson is here, our home theater geek. Scotty?
Here I am.
Oh, surprised him. I didn't mean to wake you up. Are you still in your jammies?
No. I was in the chat room. I was talking to folks in the chat room. I haven't been there in a long time.
People love talking to Scott in the chat room.
I do too. Yeah. I just have a great time with it.
Yeah, there he is.
Hello, Scott.
Wait a minute. Where are you?
I am in my new house.
Yay!
Heavens to Murgatroyd. You moved.
It's happened.
I did. It happened. This is why I wasn't here last month, and I really regretted it. But moving households is a big chore.
Yes, it is. And it is something that needs to have someone's full attention. Otherwise, you end up with Bell's palsy and half of your face is paralyzed, which is what happened to me.
Suspiciously specific.
It is very, very suspiciously specific. Don't get stressed. Just do the job and don't worry about anything else.
Don't think about anything else.
Yes.
I did do the job, and here we are.
Let's see it. Let's see is this your new set?
This is my new. Well, it's evolving. It's not done yet.
Yeah. Ooh, the speakers back there.
Oh man, this is my music station back here with Genelec speakers.
Never heard of those.
You know that brand?
I don't know her.
Man, that's professional stuff. That's what you find in professional recording studios. And I said, you know what? I know some folks at Genelec, so I can get a deal. It's still not cheap, but I'm going to really outfit my music studio with something really. They
don't look very big. What makes these Genelecs so good?
Well, they a number of things. They're 5-inch woofers, and what you can't see is I also have a subwoofer.
Yeah.
So I do have the low frequencies covered. But one of the things that makes Genelecs really good, well, for one thing, they're self-powered. And
so you need that for a computer, for a lot of things. You don't have amps anymore. It used to be we'd have an amp.
Well, I could get passive speakers and an amp, but what I really like about passive active speakers is that the amp is mated or optimized for these particular drivers in this particular enclosure.
Okay.
So they're optimized for each other. Another really cool thing about Genelecs is the cabinetry there are no hard corners.
I noticed they look like little aliens. They're so soft.
They're so soft and curvilicious.
Yeah. Now, that's a good thing acoustically?
Very good. Very good. Yes, it minimizes diffraction around what would normally be the hard corners of a square or rectangular box.
Okay.
So
I could use these in my 5.1 surround system has an amp, right? So you can use them with an amplifier, but you'd prefer to use them.
No, you can't use them with an amplifier because they already have an amplifier.
Well, how do I tell my 5.1 to send it to them? I can't, right? You
can. You could take the preamp out from your receiver or your processor and just not use the amps that are already. Do you use a receiver? I forgot.
It's a Denon receiver. Yeah.
Denon receiver. Okay, so it probably has preamp outputs, and you would just send the preamp outputs to these speakers, and the amps within the Denon would simply not be used.
Ah, interesting. And you say that's better because I've always thought powered speakers were not as. I mean, I use audio engine speakers for my computers because they're powered.
Right.
But I always assumed, those aren't going to be as good as the Denon amp. But I guess with the Genelecs,
not necessarily true.
They are.
The Genelecs, I mean, they're from Finland.
Oh, no wonder.
So
that explains it. Okay.
And they, I mean, it's super high end stuff. I mean, this recording studios use Genelecs all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So
how much were those Genelecs? Not for you, not the special Scott Wilkinson price, but when I walk in the door.
When you walk in the door, I believe these are the.
Are they the 8030s, the 8010s?
They're the 8030s. That's exactly right. The 8030C.
8030C.
I think they're like $700-800 a piece.
Each for one.
Yeah.
B&H is charging $695. That's
you go, $700.
That's the Leo price. That's when Leo walks in the door. But they're so small. But then you still need a sub now.
Well, do you really? These go down to I think 45 hertz.
It says 47.
And that's at minus 10 dB. So that's pretty far down.
That sounds about right.
But the lowest frequency on a string bass, for example, is like I think 30 hertz.
Okay.
I really wanted full spectrum reproduction, so I went ahead and bought a Genelec subwoofer as well.
Yeah.
Which is under the desk.
Yeah.
I know a guy here in Santa Cruz who has a music studio, and he uses a pair of not Genelex, but Neumann. You know Neumann, which is famous for microphones.
They make mics, but they make speakers.
They also
too.
make monitors. Yes, studio monitors, powered monitors with a 5-inch woofer in them, just like these. He doesn't use a subwoofer, and he's perfectly happy.
These get loud, 104 dB.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to
Holy
play them that loud.
Cow. That's hearing damage loud.
It is, yeah, absolutely.
But they're
clean too.
Yeah.
Clean too.
Nice.
I mean, very low distortion. So
nice.
I'm just getting to know them. They just arrived a week or so ago. So
I just not so long ago replaced all my speakers with Elex because you said how good they were.
Don't do it again.
They are. Do you now agree?
Yes, they sound fantastic. But if they could sound
but now Genelex
better with Genelex.
I shouldn't have asked about those speakers.
Now we're getting to the point of the price performance curve.
Yeah.
And I talked about this on one of my recent podcasts about as you spend more money, generally speaking, not always, but usually, you spend more money, you get better performance. But there's a knee frequency. There's a point at which that curve flattens out. And you might get a little better performance, but you have to spend a lot more money.
Yeah.
So is it worth it?
Also,
in my case,
sorry, just to add to that, is there not also a secondary curve? And I don't mean to sound ageist, but at the same time, and I'm not saying this as a joke, like if you're spending that much money on something and your ears, because our ears do this over time, lose the ability to hear those frequencies, then there also might be a reason to not do that. Yeah.
That's a very good point. As we age, there's nothing we can do about it. Our hearing, our ability to hear certain frequencies diminishes.
You still hear, but I want to point out, you still hear them and you can equalize that out. So in fact, that might be an excuse for getting better speakers.
I was trying to save Leo money, Scott, and it's not working.
Because if those speakers, so for instance, you lose it at the high end. I don't know what that is.
You typically lose it at the high end.
10 kilohertz. Yeah. But if I can bump it to 8 to 10 kilohertz to compensate for the loss, I can hear a full range of music, and flat music.
To a degree.
Like I've lost that capability.
Right.
To a certain degree, that's true.
Yeah.
Although I will tell you this, live sound engineers play music really loud typically, for big shows. And they lose their hearing, noise-induced hearing losses in the 3 to 6 kilohertz range.
That's not a good place.
And they start losing that. So what do? Yeah. They start EQing. They start boosting that range.
Oh, my.
Right.
So then it damages that even more.
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle. Yeah.
It's a vicious cycle. That's exactly right.
I doubt you came on here to talk about this.
Yeah, in fact, I think, John Ashley, we had a question that was specifically tuned, EQ.
Yeah. John
Scott.
sent that to me. I would love to talk about that.
Because we always hijack poor Scott's. Oh, look, there's
any guest
macrame on your door. Tell us about macrame. We don't want to hijack that. So,
okay.
Although,
it was good conversation about the speakers.
I'm not done yet. That's the problem. That's the problem. And part of the problem is there's a lot of these high-end speakers that, the people on Reddit and on various audiophile forums will say, oh, these are the best, KRKs, somebody's saying in our IRC, or KEFs, or there isn't an agreed upon best speaker.
No. There's a lot of,
and there's a lot,
personal preference involved. Yeah, some people swear by clips. Other people hate them.
Yeah. JBL, same thing. There's a sound curve and it's not flat. So I was very fortunate today to go into the big soundstage. You and I have been there for Lucas Sound.
Oh yeah.
They have a big orchestral soundstage and they have a beautiful control room.
Oh, yeah.
And as you know, they have Bowers and Wilkins towers in there. Those are the
wonderful speakers.
And of course, this is for the mixing engineers. So they want to have the best possible speakers. And I said, "Oh, diamond tweeters, eh?" He said, "No, we tried the diamond tweeters." So B&W was really pushing the diamond tweeters.
Mm-hmm.
They were on their high-end speakers.
We make our tweeters with diamonds. There's got to be better. He said, "No, it was too piercing." Mm-hmm. We took them out. We got the diamond tweeters and we replaced them. So so my point only is there's a lot of marketing and there's a lot of golden ears out there who hear things that maybe you and I don't hear. So it's easy to get sucked in. But now I want Genelex. Should I have fallen for Kevin Rose was all big on these Devialet, these weird looking French speakers.
Devialet speakers are wonderful. They sound great. They're so expensive. They're so expensive.
Okay.
Oh,
Wait,
man.
and I almost hesitate to tell you this, but wait till I tell you about the speakers that are coming for my home theater.
Oh, we'll save that for another day. We have question. We have a
Yes,
question
please.
for you.
Go ahead.
Scott Wilkinson, what's the question? Do you have the question?
I don't.
Does anybody have the question? Did you give Scott the question ahead of time?
I did.
Oh, John, do you want to? Or John, Scott,
I thought you were going to play it. It's an audio question.
It's an audio daily double. Beep, 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 beep.
He doesn't have to play it. I remember it. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, go ahead. Just
Then in that case,
yeah,
just
if you can give the context
fill us
for our
in.
listeners, yeah.
All right. So the listener recorded an audio question, and the question was really basic. It was, why don't modern TVs, have more HDMI inputs? They only have like 3. And he's got a bunch of things that he wants to plug into the TV. And he has to continually unplug.
Oh, don't do that. No.
Plug in another. No. That's right. You do not want to do that.
No.
However, the question remains, why don't TVs have more HDMI inputs? Well, it costs money, for one thing. And if you have a bunch of devices, source devices that you want to plug into the TV, most TV manufacturers assume that you're going to have an AV receiver or some other switching device, a processor.
I think that's increasingly less true because people are buying these sound bars, right? They're
True.
not-
And sound bars now often have some HDMI inputs, not a lot,
3,
though.
yeah. 2 or 3, yeah.
2 or 3.
I think so.
it
Maybe
is a bit of a problem.
They're being cheapskates and saying, "Oh, you'll have a receiver," but that ain't true. I mean, I guess you could get a receiver or a switcher.
Well, this is exactly what I did. See, as I just mentioned, I'm waiting to put together my final dream home theater, which is going to have a surround processor and powered speakers.
Yeah.
But that's another story.
Interesting. Yeah.
That's another story.
So you could get a surround processor, not an amp, and let these fabulous Genelecs or some other powered speakers.
Powered speakers do the job. Exactly right.
That's interesting.
Before that happens, and it hasn't happened yet, I'm still waiting to get some components. I bought an HDMI switch, which has, I believe, 5 HDMI inputs and 1 output. The one I got was from Triplite. You probably know the name Triplite.
I do indeed, yes.
Tripplite. Another company, Sewell, Sewell, maybe, makes them as well. And it's just a little tiny little thing that has 5 HDMI inputs, 1 output. Even comes with a little remote control that you can select which of the inputs you want to go to the output. And then you put that 1 output to your TV and you're done. One reason I like this solution more than plugging devices into the TV itself is what I would want to do is calibrate or set up each of the TV's inputs. Whereas if you do it with a switch, such as I'm suggesting, you only have to set up the 1 input that the output from the switch is going to the input of the TV. Now, most TVs do have a copy settings to all inputs, so it's really not that onerous. But it's just one more step.
There's also
plus the switch gives you like 5 inputs, and the TV might only give you 3.
Right.
Bigger TVs will give you 4 typically.
There's also companies like Samsung who are really pushing their external boxes. As TVs get thinner,
yes,
they're moving the electronics out of the TV into these boxes. And I think they almost want to become your receiver. That's kind of the goal. The boxes do so much. My the 77-inch QD OLED that you saw that I bought from Samsung has 4 HDMI ins, which is, I think, woefully inadequate.
Yeah, I would agree.
And they have this big box. They could put more on it. They
could put more on there.
Yeah.
I must admit, I don't know exactly what the licensing fee is.
Maybe that's it. It must be costly.
Whenever you put an HDMI input or connection on a device, you have to pay a fee.
Yeah, that must be.
So if you put it, does that per
that makes
input?
sense. Yeah.
You know, there's the HDMI Licensing Administration, and that's a good thing, you know, because they make sure that all devices with HDMI connections work in a predictable manner. If there wasn't such a thing and people were just, oh, sure, you know, who knows if what you plug in there will work.
Does the HDMI switch that you got, it passes along HDR and Dolby, whatever the heck it's called. I can't think of it now.
Dolby Atmos,
and then also
Dolby Vision.
Vision. Okay.
It does. It does. Absolutely. You have to make sure that the switch you buy has that kind of bandwidth. But they do now. So I don't know if there are any switches, any inexpensive switches anyway, that do 48 gigabits per second, which is the current HDMI 2.1 maximum bandwidth. But even 18, which is 2.0 bandwidth, will carry most of that stuff. It won't carry 8K, you know, but I'm not a big believer in 8K anyway.
You said 40 gigabits or
48 gigabits per second is the current standard maximum bandwidth for HDMI 2.1.
Gotcha. Because Monoprice has its Blackbird 8K 60. It does 40 gigabits per second bandwidth, but not 40.
Okay.
40.
Not 48. Okay.
Yeah. And it's
Interestingly,
HDMI 2.1.
There you go. When Sony first came out with their 4K projectors, they did their HDMI inputs were at 40 instead of 48. And I always wondered why do that? I never got a clear answer from them on that. But 40 is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's more than you need in almost all cases.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
it's money is the answer. Why they don't put so many on the back.
Yep.
It's why they don't put more HDMIs on the back. That is correct.
Yep.
And TVs are so cheap these days, and that's, I guess, one reason why. So
have we answered his question? The question is get a switcher. The answer is get a switcher. Yeah,
exactly.
Good. And some are automatic. Some have a remote. The automatics have never worked for me, by the way. I don't know about you.
There is, in the trip light that I have does have a signal sensor. So if it suddenly gets a signal into one of the inputs that's not currently being used, it'll switch.
Yeah. Does that work
automatically? I don't usually use it.
Yeah. My experience with switchers is that it was hit or miss. And if it's missed, then you have to get up. And I don't want to get up. So
another problem with it that I found is if I say I have a streamer coming into one input, like an Apple TV or whatever, and my cable box into another, and I'm watching the cable box and the streamer was on, when it turns off after a period of inactivity, it sends an off signal to the TV.
Oh.
And the TV turns off, and I go, what?
That's annoying.
That is annoying. That's one little annoyance that happens. But, you know, I live with it because for now it's a temporary fix. When I get my my Storm audio processor and my Grimani speakers, that will be a problem in the past.
There it was. There was the name Grimani.
Grimani?
Yeah.
Yeah. Grimani Systems is the name of the speaker company.
Okay. He gave it away.
He did.
I did. I'm sorry.
How are the Genelac?
You're going to get a lot more
Genelac
information.
people are not going to be happy.
Well,
why did you not use Genelacs?
Well, because my theaters, the setup in my theater is different. I really needed on-wall and on-ceiling speakers, and Genelac doesn't make those.
Yeah. Okay.
And,
Mr. Scott Wilkinson, people can email him, scott@twit.tv.
That's right.
And don't forget, we've brought back the fabulous Home Theater Geeks podcast.
So happy about that.
Yeah, we were sad to have to cancel it, but thanks to the members of Club Twit who are funding all the shows we do in the club. We have a series of club-only shows, and one of which is the weekly Home Theater Geeks with Scott Wilkinson.
Home Theater Geeks. And next week, I think, is the first of my two-part series of interviews with the CEO and Senior Product Development Manager from THX about their new technology called spatial audio.
Oh, THX is doing spatial.
They are.
Things that make you go,
Thank you, Scott Wilkinson.
so
We'll see you
much.
on Home Theater Geeks.
You bet.
Take care. It is a chance for me to plug our club.
Plug the club.
One of the advantages of the club is you're funding stuff like we're talking about bringing back a lot of shows, but Micah does his Hands on Macintosh show in the club. We've got Hands on Windows with Paul Thurrott. We've got the Untitled Linux show, Scott Wilkinson's Home Theater Geeks. What we can start shows because they're funded by the club members, in effect. All it costs is $7 a month. That's the entire, there's no additional commitment required, but that's enough for us. We have now, I think, almost 8,000 members for us to try some stuff that in the past we couldn't do because of lack of advertiser support, frankly. You're replacing the advertisers. Thank you for doing that. Makes it possible. That's how we launched This Week in Space, which is now a public show. And you get ad-free versions of all the shows we do. So no ads anymore, right? No more trackers in there for the ads. You get the Twit Plus feed, which is stuff before and after the shows and fun things that just didn't make it into the podcast. I think the best benefit, besides, all the great shows, is the wonderful Club Twit, which I really quite enjoy. You can chat about shows, but you can chat about anything geeks are interested in our Club Twit Discord. And Aunt Pruitt, of course, is the community manager there. Twit.tv/ClubTwit if you are not yet a member. Thank you, Scott. Let's move on to some more. Yes, I see you waving. I see the waving.
Is that another Scott, I think?
Is that another Scott? Did you already pick him up or should I do it? I see it's red. Should I do something? I'm going to send him to the breakout room. I don't understand how things work.
Cross our fingers.
Scott. Send to the breakout room. It's not going to the... Oh, he went. He's gone. He's in.
I'm here.
Hey, Scott, welcome. Where are you calling from?
Hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Oh, fantastic. I'm calling from Sarasota, Florida.
Beautiful Sarasota, Florida, where the temperature is 98 degrees and the humidity is 100%.
Oh, it stinks. It's hot.
But you're nice and cool inside. Welcome, Scott.
Leo, I want to tell you, I love you.
Oh, well, I love you too. We look like we might be of an age.
Listen, you remember what year did Screensaver? What was the date?
1998, May 11th, 1998. A date.
I was your third caller.
No.
Florida.
What did you ask on the ZDTV Netcam network?
What I asked, it was so stupid. I don't even remember what it was. I just wanted to get on to talk to you.
I wish I had all of the shows. We tried to get it from NBC. Comcast bought Tech TV, and they have all the original digital tapes in a storage facility in Los Angeles. And Lisa negotiated with them for quite some time, trying to get permission to get those shows. We had an idea, for instance, of doing a weekend show, which would be us sitting down and looking at the old show and then laughing at it, making fun of the commercials. Maybe that's why they didn't want us to do that.
We really dated ourselves. When you go back, you can't believe how
it was very.
How we all look.
Yeah, remember the ultimate gaming machine we built? I mean, that thing, you wouldn't want that thing.
You and Patrick and I tell you,
Kate Patello. Jessica. Megan was there.
But I just wanted to tell you, this is from my heart. I love you because everything you do, I've followed you in how long has it been now? 23, 24 years.
Yeah. But look at that.
Really changed my life as far as computer, because I never knew anything about computers. As I followed you and it progressed and just evolved as I went.
Nice.
Now I have Macs and I have iPhones and, things that I had the first iPhone, 2007. And I really didn't really care for it, but I came back to it just because it's such a better environment. But I wanted to just say I love you because
I'm going to cry.
And how much I really genuinely appreciated everything that you've done as far as a person for everyone, not just for me, but you help a great deal of people. And I'm so thankful that I found you, and I always tell people to watch your show to learn,
Scott.
To find out more about technology.
Thank you.
You're genuinely a super genuine human being, and I just wanted to tell you, I love you.
Oh, I love you right back there, Scott. We've never met, but we are parasocial buddies. And don't you love Micah? I mean, we've got the next generation. He's the
new breed, right?
It's the new. I realized finally that we got to have some young people who are ready to continue. And it's changed a lot since 1998.
We're not using the same webcams for some reason.
How much things have changed.
Somebody said they never mention Yoshi on the screensavers. So I have a picture.
Oh, yeah. How is he?
He's actually working in the movie business doing props. Here's a picture of Yoshi on my screen. He built like all these crazy mods. He was our modder, and what a talent. He's now taking that skill and doing it for Hollywood. By the way, note, the date burned into the image. I can't get rid of it.
There it is.
But I know I took it in May 2003. That's on the newer screensaver set. So,
Isn't it funny how we were just doing some silly things, and you think in retrospect how far we've evolved in technology.
It's kind of amazing.
It's really mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing. This was an early camera phone, I think, that I took this with.
Really?
See how bad
I was wondering
how
about
potato the image is.
Yeah.
But I think this was a Samsung, it was a Sanyo camera phone of that era. And I have a bunch of them. Someday I'll dredge them up from Tech TV. Anyway, what can we do for you today?
Well, nothing. I really just I felt that
you just called. I'm not usually
up at this time watching you. I'm always watching the recording. I am a member, but I don't really. I'm not watching. So I said I've got to get it up so I can actually get live on TV, because this is really the only program that you're live taking calls.
That's true. Do you work nights? How is it that you were asleep at this hour?
I'm kind of a late bird. I don't go to bed till like 4 or 3 in the morning.
Gotcha.
Nice. You must be retired. That's my dream.
Yeah, I am.
Lisa and I say we want to sleep till noon and stay up till 4 someday.
I do have a question though. Do you know what's going to be happening in the new iPhone?
I know a lot of rumors. I'll tell you. Actually, it's a good question, because they will be starting manufacture this month. Mm-hmm. They've already made about 100,000 of them. This is what Apple does. They make them ahead of time to make sure Foxconn in China, in Shenzhen, China, iPhone City, they call the factory, is able to make these in quantity reliably, right? So they'll make a big batch to see how long it takes, and et cetera, et cetera. They've done that, and that's how we know some things about the iPhone 15, because they've already made some. But the real production will ramp up later this month, and of course they'll announce it not so long. In about a month, they'll announce it. We're only about a month away from it.
Yeah, exactly. It's
kind of amazing.
But I got I just got another iPhone, the 14, and I really wasn't impressed by it. It seemed bulky and heavy, and compared to the Galaxies. And tell me, what am I missing? Because I love the software. I love the environment of Apple.
I think
I'm having a hard time with the hardware. It's so big and bulky.
I think that's
unbelievable.
I think that's accurate. I think people buy iPhones for the software, for the ecosystem. They also buy them for the cameras, and that's one of the reasons these are so bulky now. If you look at your iPhone 14, it's even thicker if you look where the camera is. There's a visible camera bump of several millimeters on this thing.
You can hurt somebody. If you hit somebody in the head with this,
these are heavy.
Their attention.
Yeah.
But people want bigger screens.
And it also depends on what device you were coming from. If it was made of metal, if it was aluminum versus this.
I have a Galaxy Ultra 5G 20.
I have the 23 Ultra. I agree with you. Samsung is making he's going to go get it. They're making somewhat. In fact, I have my Samsung in the other room, but they're making somewhat.
This
slimmer.
one is so lightweight.
Yeah.
Is that the aluminum one? Because this is surgical steel or whatever.
I think
so. That's one rumor, that Apple's going to replace this steel, which is very heavy, on the outside here, with titanium. That'll make it much lighter. These are heavy, and I think to some degree there is a thought that people equate heaviness with quality.
Yes.
If it's too light and flimsy, people go, oh yeah, that's junky plastic.
Well, that used to be part of me. That used to be the thing about Apple. Everything was small, thin, and light.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. Maybe, yeah.
I don't know.
I think
not
that
right?
it's
Isn't that
an
right?
aesthetic judgment. They have very good
That
designers.
small little phone. It was small. It was a teeny little thing, and everybody was complaining the screen was too small. And
It's personal preference.
Yeah,
I remember how
that's what it
small the
boils
screen
down
was
to.
on your first iPhone. It was tiny.
that was unbelievable. I can't believe we even used it.
Well, we thought it was big though. I
Yeah.
mean, that
Yeah.
at the time it was fairly large. So
Well, I'm gonna return this one because I have my 14 days because I think
if you don't
I want to
like
wait
it,
for the
return
next.
it.
Yeah, why
version,
not?
Right?
Well,
not?
okay, so this is why you would prefer, if you haven't yet bought the 14, you should wait for the 15. Might be lighter because all of this is speculation. None of this is from Apple. Lighter
I know,
because
but
of
you know the
titanium.
guys.
Well, I don't know them, but I know the guys who know them. They are, and this was actually the hardest thing they had some manufacturing difficulties with. They want to get the bezels even smaller.
Yep.
So they aren't very big. You can see the black rim around the screen. They want to get that almost to nothing.
Which would be kind of weird, I think.
Yeah, and Samsung's already done this. In fact,
Leo,
Samsung
when you
had a
look
screen that
when you
rolled
look at
over.
the iPad, when you look at the iPad Pro, it's so thin and it's rounded corners and it's so much different than the phone.
I know.
You got a lot more space to spread out, too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know. Well, they have bigger bezels on the iPad so you can hold it. So these are Samsung screens, which is ironic. They get their screens from Samsung. They may have to actually go to another supplier now because was it LG? I think.
I think so. Yeah.
Then there's also going to go back to the notch on the Max, which is weird. They celebrated Dynamic
I
Island.
like the Dynamic Island.
I think it's better, but they'll have Dynamic Island on the lower end, the iPhone 15, and the iPhone 15 Pros will have, the rumor has it, a notch now. They are going to improve the cameras quite a bit. There's even a thought they might have a periscope camera like your Samsung has. That periscope gives the Samsung, the S23 Ultra, has a 200x zoom, a 10x optical zoom that goes to 200 digitally. That's really good. The zoom on the Samsung's amazing. But the camera bump is there on the Samsung, and it's going to probably persist because of physics, frankly.
Until we get that superconductor figured out.
What else do we know about the iPhone?
Is that that's not an M1 chip or M2 chip? Is it a different chip?
Oh, that's what else we know. We know that they will almost certainly have the new 3 nanometer node, which will be the on the iPhones they call them the A chips.
Yep.
On the computers, the M chips. They're functionally very similar. They're essentially the same chips with modifications. This will be the A16 or A17. I can't remember. I've lost track.
Me too.
But it will be a new chip, and just like the next generation Max, which will come out probably in October and then in the spring, it will be a 3 nanometer.
Currently
node.
A16.
So this will be the new A17. And the thing that's interesting about 3 nanometers, first of all, wow.
That's just ridiculous.
Wow. They're very, what that means is that's the connections, the wires, they're not wires, but the lines that connect different circuitry are they're so small, they're microscopic, 3 nanometers, 3 billionths of a meter, and they're going to get even smaller, but that's the smallest chips we make now. This is all out of TSMC, the Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company. That gives you a couple of benefits. It's speedier, it's lower heat, which means better power consumption. So and I think the jump to the A17, or in the case of the Macintosh from the M2 to the M3, the jump from the A16 to the A17 will be a much bigger jump than it was from the M1 to the M2 or the A14 to the A15. This is going to be a significant, I believe, improvement in both performance and power consumption. So that's a big deal. Usually what Apple does with the improved power consumption is not give you more time. They're going to say all day battery life. But what they'll do is they'll be able to use more power
exactly
in the software and so forth. So it'll give you more functionality rather than more battery life. And the speed, not that anybody has said in years that their phone felt
Mine's
slow.
so slow.
Right?
Right.
No.
But it'll be, we were laughing on that pretty quickly. It'll be snappier. That'll be.
I just wanted her to say hello.
That's
again.
Nice.
Thank you so much for taking my call, and
My
God
pleasure.
bless you. I love you so much.
Thank you, Scott. I love
and
you
keep
back.
the good work up,
Thank
and you're
you.
a class act, Leo.
Mwah. See you later, Scott.
Bye-bye.
I have a new boyfriend.
You do.
One other thing that might be a big difference is I think it's going to be Type-C instead of Lightning.
Yeah, that's right. Forgot to mention that.
And that could be a huge deal. in terms of you don't have
I would love that.
Yeah, now they're going to have to do that with the AirPods too, and my Apple TV remote. There's only 3 things in my whole house that use Lightning.
You just got to update to the Siri remote, then you'll be good to go.
No, that's Lightning. No, they're all Lightning.
Are we sure?
I'm sure. Am I? Maybe
I
not.
thought the latest Siri remote.
Is it? Okay, it would be smart if it were.
But now, no, I'm going to confirm here because I'm on the page.
You might be right. You probably are. I should never.
Yeah, it's USB-C.
It's USB-C. Yeah. Okay. What a fool I was.
No, it's okay.
I was a fool to doubt you.
I think when the Siri remote first came out, it may have been Lightning, and then they quickly introduced the new one that had USB-C.
Okay. You want to see some more pictures from Tech TV? Let me see.
Yeah, let's see some tech.
No, I don't.
Oh, do you want to do an ad?
I should do an ad, and then maybe. I found that we have a new sponsor that's coming up, and you and I have both been playing with it.
Yes.
And I was able to find that Yoshi picture like that.
Oh yeah.
And I'm very excited, but we'll save that for another day.
I had some discoveries too. I was sending photos to family.
Yeah, the old photos.
Do you remember this?
Hey, bring in the e-bike. Oh, where's my e-bike? Did you ride it home, John Ashley? See, everybody.
I plead the fifth.
Everybody
Benito
wants my
rode it
electric. Love these electric bikes. Ask the Tech Guys is brought to you by Electric E-Bikes. Summer may be winding down, but it's not too late to enjoy an endless summer. Keep the good times rolling. The new Electric XP 3.0 is now, I'm happy to say, the most popular e-bike in America. Electric bikes are the future. They are so fun to ride. Hills don't stop you. You still pedal. You still get exercise, but you're never thwarted by uneven terrain or hills. And I love the Electric XP30, packed with premium features, smooth pedal assist. That means when you pedal and it says, oh, he's working too hard, the motor just kicks in gently. They also have a throttle. I love having a throttle, twist grip throttle, because that means I'm stopped at a stoplight. I don't have to get up on the pedals to get going. I just throttle up and I'm out in the intersection. It's fully foldable too. Wait till you see this. Here I am. This is the cargo bike I'm riding. Oh, that box looks kind of loose. I'm afraid it's going to fall. Oh, no. There goes one package down the road. This is the cargo bike from Electric. And in a little bit, we're going to show you the XP. The XP folds up, which I really like because I honestly, I'm a little nervous riding on the streets these days, but I can go to a park with the trail and ride that bike, and it's so much fun. I just pop it in my trunk, unfold it when I'm there. It's solid. Oh, Burke. Dropped everything. Come on, man. Here we go. Let me open up the trunk. If you're not watching the video, you'll just have to see the video. I'm going to pull this. It'll fit in any trunk. This is the XP. It unfolds very easily, locks in place, so it's really solid. And it's as low as $9.99, which for an e-bike is mind-boggling. That is a great price. Quality, featured-filled models at Electric Bikes. Financing as low as $73 a month. Powerful removable battery. Bright LCD. 7-speed gearing. 5 levels of pedal assist. Look at that screen. It's very easy to read. They're foldable. They ship free. Oh, this is important. Fully assembled. If you don't have a Burke to assemble your e-bikes, you need this. Choose from Electric's range of styles to make your own. I'm riding the XP 3.0, the most popular e-bike in the industry. Newly reimagined, starting at just $9.99. 28-mile-an-hour top speed. Pure throttle on demand, updated programming, plus new hydraulic brakes. Hydraulic brakes for a smoother stopping experience. I'm riding the Cargo Expedition. If you've got stuff to haul, the Expedition Cargo e-bike makes it easy. Carrying capacity of 450 pounds. You bring all your gear along for the ride. And it has extra torque, which makes it easy to start up that heavy load. And they also they've just added Leo, keep your eyes on the road. They've added a trike. A trike, the industry's first fully foldable and fully assembled electric tricycle. The XP Trike features a third wheel for stability. It can accommodate a wide range of abilities and preferences. Bring the kids. I see more and more people with their kids on these electric e-bikes riding around town and stuff. It's so great. Make every day feel like an endless summer vacation with an XP 3.0 from Electric. Visit electricebikes.com to learn more and explore the epic models Electric has to offer. LECTRIC ebikes.com. No matter where you live, an e-bike is a wonderful thing to have, and Electric makes the best. electricebikes.com. Thank you, Electric, for supporting Ask the Tech Guys. I got some mail. Woo! I got 2 postcards.
Mail time.
This one's from Amsterdam. Not New York, Amsterdam in the Netherlands. Dear Leo, please try to be more objective when reporting on Elon Musk and Tesla.
Oh, boy.
I can't read that. What do you
Want
think?
me to give it a go?
Yeah, would you give it a go? It's something in quotes. I can't read it.
I
don't get a lot of snail mail. So handwriting is not
falsetto.
Not falsetto. Don't talk in falsetto.
But deaths per mile, not something.
Oh yeah, because we were talking
deaths or 17 deaths.
We were talking about how many deaths have occurred with the self-driving.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what stat you use. Anyway, I'll be nicer. Thank you, John, from Amsterdam.
Thank you for writing all the way from Amsterdam, and beautiful handwriting.
Yeah, the postcard says, "Get glowing. The world needs your magic." Aw. And then. No, I love that. Thank you, John. I'm going to save that. Put that on my mirror. And
is that a photo?
I don't know what that is. It's just blue.
I think it's a photo of a satellite very far off in space.
I don't know what that is. Huge fan from the Tech TV days. Annual subscriber. Thank you. Get a call screener and Ask the Tech Guys. And be more professional on Twig. You and Jeff go full high school. Okay, call screener. I agree, but I kind of also enjoy it that we can just take calls and just put people on the air. So we could get a call screener, but I think it's just fun having it this way. We'll see. If it's possible, we'll do that.
Hey, we love to hear from you if you can tell. So please do write in your postcards and we will take good care of them.
Actually, do the email. It's easier for me. I can read your typing. atg@twit.tv. As for Jeff and I being full high school, we've kind of decided to distinguish Twit from Twig. Jeff and I host This Week in Google along with Aunt Pruitt and Stacey Higginbotham. We thought we'd make that more of a fun show with lighter stories and more fun stuff to distinguish it from the heavy Sunday show, This Week in Tech. And maybe we get a little too silly, but I don't know. I enjoy this.
A little silliness in life isn't a bad thing.
I enjoy this silly personally. Do you have a voicemail for us?
We can do a voicemail, or we can actually do an actual email. What would you like?
Well, those were 2 emails. Let's do a voicemail.
All right, we'll do.
It wasn't an email, but those are 2 mails. Yeah.
P-mail, physical mail.
P-mail, physical mail. That's a good name. Did you just make that up?
I did.
P-mail.
Hello, this is Barbara Irvin. I'm calling from Lock Haven, Pennsylvania. I was wondering where I could take some free Excel classes. I'm interested in learning Excel so that I can move up in the professional world. I don't have the experience, and I'd like to find out how to learn this program and a few others. So if you could provide me with some tips, I'd very much appreciate it. Thank you, and have a great day.
You should learn Excel. Excel and Word, which are the 2 big Microsoft Office programs. And then if you wanted to have a third, PowerPoint, really do help you in business. And almost any job, having those capabilities will make you a more desirable employee. And Excel, which is the numeric spreadsheet, is a great thing to learn and fun. You can actually do so much in Excel. My strong recommendation is you look for community colleges in your area and extension courses. Almost every area, it sounds like you live maybe in a little bit of a rural area in Pennsylvania, but almost every area will have adult extension courses, and almost all of them will be in Microsoft Office or Excel. They will have some computing courses. It might be a good idea to kind of work the way through the basic computing up through Excel, and then you can even get into coding if you want. But that's the best free stuff, frankly. Now, there is online stuff, and it depends on what kind of learner you are. Some people, personally, I think, it's good to go into a classroom with other people. There's a peer relationship with your co-learners that really helps you learn. They're struggling with it too, and you can talk to them, and having a teacher right there over your shoulder saying, yeah, put that in there. For me, I think that works really well, and that's why I recommend the community colleges and the extension courses. But there is a infinite amount of course online for learning anything you'd want to use. There's the Khan Academy, for instance. Salman Khan's done an amazing job. He intended that for high school students, but it's really for anybody. Yes, there are Excel courses. There are also some, we call them MOOCs, massively online something. Online massively online learning communities. And there are many, many MOOCs out there. Coursera is a good one. Literally there are dozens of these. And some of them offer free courses. Some of them offer very inexpensive courses. Kind of depends on whether you want a certificate to prove that you know Excel. I've taken coding courses, for instance, online from a online learning consortium of MIT and University of British Columbia and a few other universities. It was called they've changed the name, I think. It was called EduX, I think. But let me look and see what the new name is.
Well, you're looking at also, Microsoft Support actually has Excel video training that they offer themselves. So made by the people who make the programs.
Absolutely.
We'll include a link in the show notes to that as well.
I'm of the edX was what it was called. Let me see if it's still edX, edx.org. Yeah. These are often free. And then if you want a certificate, you can pay like $90. They're not expensive. I took a couple of coding courses from the University of British Columbia that were incredible. Highly recommend them. But again, some people, this is a hard way to learn because you have to be self-starter.
Right.
There's nobody looking over your shoulder. The biggest thing I find difficult is sometimes I have a simple question and I don't want to go to Reddit or one of the online, edX has its own online forums. For some reason, that just doesn't work for me. It'd be so much easier if I say, hey, Micah.
Yeah, exactly.
Why isn't this working? And then I think that peer learning is very important. So that's why I like the in-person classes. But you're right. There's lots of online stuff, even from Microsoft. It's free. They want you to use Excel. It's in their interests that you get good at Excel. So there's quite a few places. Oh, yes. And Back in Philly is recommending Harvard CS50. This is Harvard's entry-level freshman course in computer science. And I've taken it. I've told other young people to take it. It is an amazing course, fast-paced, and it gives you a very in-depth introduction to computing for smart people. Remember, these are Harvard freshmen who are going here. So they're smart people, but it is really a good course. And you can take that online for free as well. It's on YouTube and a lot of other places. I think EDX has it as well. CS50 is the introductory course to computer science at Harvard. They change it. They update it every year.
And I just saw they've got a new one, CS50's Introduction to Artificial Intelligence with Python. Yeah. I'm going to watch that one.
Yeah, it's kind of neat what Harvard does. I mean, they have, it's probably the most popular class at Harvard, very close to. And so it's a big lecture. And then they have little, workshops or whatever they call it. It's 11 weeks long. You can do it at your own pace. It's very deep. I mean, it moves very fast, but it's very well produced. And I think this is a good one. But this is more general. This is not about Excel at all. This is a more general how computers work kind of thing. And it's free.
Exactly.
It's EDX. Harvard, MIT, and a number of other universities did that. I like EDX a lot.
I'm on that page now going, and this one, and this one, and this one.
Yeah. Yeah. It's easy to overdo it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I did we don't have to go into depth. That was a good question. I've got another one.
Very good question.
I see somebody right now. I see Nancy. I'm going to pick up Nancy because we got video. I love seeing the video of our callers. Nancy, welcome to Ask the Tech Guys. You have to press a few buttons, right? What do you press?
Oh, golly. For this, I think you just say, Unmute. Yes, let me be moved to the breakout room.
Yeah.
I think it handles the rest of it.
Give it permission.
But Nancy's been moved. So now, Nancy's appearing.
There she is.
In the Stargate.
All we need is to hear her.
We just need to hear you.
Unmute, maybe. That's the trick.
Oh, you can't. Can you hear us?
Oh, I shouldn't have picked up. She had just called in, and I perhaps picked it up.
Yeah, she's
all right. Let me do a commercial, and then keep working with Nancy. See if we can get her in. Our show today brought to you by Fastmail. I've talked about Fastmail so many times. I've been recommending Fastmail for more than a decade because it's my opinion. I've said this. You've heard me say it. If email is important to you, why are you using free email? Pay for it. It's not a lot, as little as $3 a month. But when you pay for email, you don't get ads, you don't get spies, and you get support. None of which is the case with these free email solutions, right? Mm-hmm. Email, many people are running their business on Gmail or worse, AOL mail.
Oh, God.
And that's just nuts. It doesn't look professional, and you're not going to get support when you need it. This is why I love Fastmail. I moved to Fastmail from Gmail years ago, and I'm so happy I did.
You got me to move to Fastmail, and I was so happy.
I not only use Fastmail for mail, I use it for my calendars, for my address book, for my notes. I even have it not host my websites, but I use the Fastmail DNS because that way every domain name I have, I can get mail at. So in fact, recently I just added another domain name because I realized that my old one was so well known, I was getting a huge amount of spam. So now when I sign up for stuff, I use this new domain name. Anything at that domain name will go into my Fastmail inbox. I can sort it. I know immediately this is something I signed up for. I just love it. Now, Fastmail, you can use your own email that you've got. If you use Apple Mail or Outlook Mail, whatever you use, works great with Fastmail because it's real IMAP. It's a standard. In fact, not only is it a standard, they use a server, the Cyrus server that's open source that they contribute back to. They are a big part of the email community. They're maybe the most important part. So they're big players in here in email standards, email authentication, all the things that need to be solved to make email work for all of us. They have fantastic spam filters. They have very fantastic scripting. I use their Sieve tool to do all sorts of control, filter out stuff into folders and so forth like that. Once you set it up, it just does it automatically forever. You don't have to use your own email client, but they have a very good webmail client. They even have apps, which is what I use now on iOS and Android. I just use the Fastmail app because it's great. It's got quick settings. You could choose a new theme. You can switch fast between light and dark mode, depending on your mood, change the text size, all without leaving the Fastmail screen, which is really cool. You can create a new masked email address. This is something that's really a cool security feature. I love the ability to have multiple email addresses to different places.
Me too.
But what you can do with this, and it works with our sponsor Bitwarden, it works with 1Password, works with a variety of email providers, but Fastmail does this, and I really like it, is it'll generate a unique email address for every sign up. So it's not your traditional email address, it's something else. And the bad guy's got to guess that as well as your password to get even close, right? So the masked email address is fantastic. You can auto-save contacts. I do that. So if I reply to somebody, you're automatically going on my contact list, which is great because I can then filter all the email I get. If it's not in my contact list, that goes into a secondary folder. I don't know you. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. But if I've responded to you, if we've had a conversation, that should go right into the important folder, right? Mm-hmm. You can show public images of senders using services like Gravatar. I do that. You can set default reminders for events. The calendar's fantastic. Change how invitations are handled, turn notifications for calendar alerts off and on. There's a real advantage to not using Google Calendars. You don't get those spammy invites all the time because people don't even know, right? They don't know my email domain. You can even add or buy domains through Fastmail. They set the records up so you get fully authenticated email. It's a little complicated to do on your own. Fastmail will show you how, but they also do it for you. And their support is fantastic. 20 years now, a real leader, not only in email privacy, but just in email in general. You're the customer, not the product. No advertisers. You're the center of the product. You get great support. It is as little as $3 a month. It's just the best. I don't know why anybody would, especially for a business, but just in general, if email is important to you, use Fastmail. Superior productivity tools scheduled, send, snooze, folders, labels, search bar. You can have labels like Gmail or folders like IMAP. You get the choice. All the filtering, so powerful. What else can I tell you? It's easy to get your mail out of your old service and into Fastmail. Or continue to gather mail from the old service for a while so that people can still reach you. Fastmail, they're moving email forward with new internet standards and open source innovations. Many email services use the real deal, the original, the one, the only, the Fastmail. For me, email is Fastmail. Reclaim your privacy and boost your productivity with Fastmail. Try it now free for 30 days. Fastmail.com/twit. That's Fastmail.com/twit. We love these guys.
Thank you, Fastmail.
Too. Yes. Now, let's see if Nancy is working. I see her picture. I see her smiling face. Do we still not hear her? I think we still don't hear her.
Nancy, you just need to unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me?
Oh my God, it works! Hi, Nancy.
User, what can I say?
Oh, no, I'm thrilled. We made it so hard. I should say we do have a phone number that's just normal, 888-724-2884. But I like to see you.
Famous, So.
Yeah, I want to see you. Where are you calling from, Nancy?
West Palm Beach, Florida.
We got a lot of Floridians today.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
You're staying
Going
indoors.
scuba diving tomorrow, so.
Nice. What can we do for you?
Well, I have an old MacBook Pro set up in my dance/workout room, and I've got about 25 years worth of dance and exercise videos that I've been collecting over the years. And so I play these. It's the MacBook's connected to my TV, so it mirrors it. The problem is sometimes the rest periods just aren't long enough. So I have to run over, pause the video, and then, I have to unpause it and run back over to what I was set up.
That stinks. You're getting a flow. Do you do modern dance? What kind of dancing are you doing?
I do primarily ballet and belly dance. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
Is that a bar behind you? Have a bar in there?
I do. I have a bar. I have all kinds of.
We're not talking a liquor bar. We're talking a ballet bar, BARRE. Oh, that's awesome. How fun.
And what I was wondering, what I'd love to do is be able to pause and resume these videos with my Apple Watch, or at least my phone. I mean,
she could do that, right?
So this is from the computer, not from an Apple TV?
Right, from a computer.
Apple TV would make it pretty easy.
Yeah.
But I notice when I'm watching Jeopardy, I often get my watch will have a pause button on there. How
are you?
Maybe I'm watching on Apple TV. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, because if it's from Apple TV,
But what if it's on your computer? You can't pause it?
Let's see.
Well, I'm playing it through QuickTime, so I just run over to the space bar, But I could play it through any app, I suppose.
Well, one thing, John is saying is if you had a little Bluetooth keyboard, you could just take it over to where you are, and then you could press the space bar, and in other words, you could reach it as far as 30 feet away.
Actually,
that's one way. One way.
Yeah, it's not as easy as the watch. So there is one
I love the
possibility.
Apple Watch for that. That's a great idea.
So the one thing you'll need to do is you'll need to import the QuickTime videos if they're not already in your
music,
into your music app, essentially.
In the music app.
The music app technically has a couple of other categories, including music videos and home videos. If it's in the home videos app, then on your Apple Watch, you can open up the app called Remote, which is separate from the little remote that's in there. And then you can connect it to your Mac's media library, and then you could control it using that.
Oh, that would be excellent. Okay.
And then Scooter X has given us, there is something on Apple, it's an accessibility tool called Switch Control. The idea being you have a foot switch or a mouth switch that you could control stuff with. But once you turn that on your Apple device, you can use a variety of tools, whether your iPhone or I bet you even your Apple Watch, to be a switch. So you have to turn on this, well, you know what, it's not on the Mac. Darn it. It's only on the iPhone, iPad, or iPod Touch. Dang. Oh, wait a minute. Use your Mac to control another device. Yeah, but I want to control a device. I want to control the Mac. Maybe look at Switch Control and see, because then it would be on your phone, and it might, even if it's on your phone, it might also be on your Apple Watch.
I think the remote app on the Apple Watch is going to be the easiest thing for you to do, as long as
I love that idea. Yeah.
As long as your television, your Mac, and your watch are on the same Wi-Fi network, which they will be, then you can just use that remote app. So again, you need to go into your apps on your Apple Watch and actually choose remote, because it's separate from that now playing option that you have otherwise. So it's a specific app. And if you have it set up to where it's not a list, but it's that honeycomb look, just look for the icon that is a blue circle with a play in the middle, a white play icon in the middle. And that is the remote app.
All right.
And then you could also get there are ski gloves that have media controls.
Yeah,
there are a lot of devices.
There are even these little buttons that you can, or little, they're little circle things, and they usually are used in the car for people who want to put it on their steering wheel so they can hit play and fast forward and stuff. But they're just little Bluetooth connected things that connect to your phone or whatever it happens to be. So you could connect that to your computer and use that.
There might be a smart home device like that.
Yeah, there are so many different
that you
little
can put on
buttons.
the bar. And when you want to have take a breath, you push the button and it pauses the video. And then you push the button. It would be home automation. It would be Apple's.
Well, so actually, it'd be more complicated to do it with a home automation one. But if you just look up, because using that, it's going to need to go through HomeKit. But if you look up...
we're making this too hard.
Exactly.
Just use the remote control.
I think, use the remote control. If you decide that you don't like that, if you look up Bluetooth media button on Amazon or somewhere else, then that's going to give you this Bluetooth option. Satachi makes one for $30. It's actually one that I have had in my car in the past before I had the steering wheel controls. So in my old car, I stuck it on the steering wheel, and then I was able to play and pause the thing that I was watching or listening to, not watching, I was driving, fast forward or rewind, and then also change the volume. So you would be able to do all of that. You just go into the Bluetooth settings on your Mac, you connect this little media button, and any media that you're playing would be able to be played and paused like from QuickTime. So you wouldn't even have to import those videos into the music app if you did it that way.
This is cool. So this is from Satechi. It's $30. It pairs to your Mac, right? And it works with the music app. So
it works with any media that's playing.
Maybe even QuickTime.
Yeah. So as long as
you wouldn't even have to do anything.
Using the main system, which QuickTime is, you could use it.
So you'd pair it as a Bluetooth device to your Mac. And then you could put that anywhere in the room.
And that big old button in the middle.
And in fact, it'll skip to the next track.
Yep.
It has,
volume
pause,
controls. Yeah.
Has volume. That's great. I think this is probably the easiest.
This is going to be easier because the one thing, if you decide to go the way of you wanting to use the Apple Watch, the one thing that I didn't mention is in your app on the Mac, you do have to do some special settings to turn your music library into a network shared library. So that can get a little complicated. And that just is a little bit more involved. So I would almost recommend trying this method first. And then if you decide, you can go for the kind of harder thing. And
you may, in other words, if you want to try it tonight, before the Satechi button comes, you could try it with your watch as a remote for your Mac. This is not very big. You can see it fits on the steering wheel. Satechi also makes handheld remotes like a television remote that do the same thing. They're media controllers that, I pressed the wrong button.
Presenters will use them to skip forward.
Yeah, that's the idea is, you have your PowerPoint presentation. So you have a little clicker you hold, but you could just put it on the bar there. And this would do the same thing. Does not support presentations. That's funny. Compatible with Mac, though. So you pair it to the Mac, and then it'll do all the stuff.
Yeah.
So there you go. You can get a remote control Bluetooth button.
And we'll include links to the Apple support document for using your Apple Watch as that means of control. And we'll also include the link to this device.
And you have the most beautiful workout room, dance room.
I would be inspired to work there.
I would want to dance there. Look at, it's so pretty.
I love this
with
room.
all the light, and it's a big bay window, and it just looks so nice. What's that over your right shoulder? Is that a Pilates machine or something? Or
this is a back extension machine.
Oh, so you can stretch and then sit up. Oh yeah, I've seen people use those. I would not dare.
Someone help me up.
No, I've used them. They're cool. They're really fun. Hey, that's so nice to talk to you, Nancy. I hope we helped.
Great question.
Good, very much.
Yeah. Have a great day.
Yeah, and good luck.
Do a little dance for us.
Yeah, please.
I'm thinking of the tech guys when I do my dance. You could do a hula hula, a wicky wacky woo. Joshua, wait a minute. Should I do
No.
We got to go to Johnny Jet.
JJ. Oh my gosh. Johnny Jet's on the horn. It's time to go traveling. Hello, John.
How you guys doing?
I hear you were down the road a piece, and I missed you. I didn't see your email till too late.
I know. I apologize. It was I apologize.
Did you have fun? Don't apologize. You were there with the family. You didn't want to work. Did you have a nice time?
Oh, we had a great time. Cavallo Point, as you know, is amazing, and it's
overlooking the bay, the Golden Gate Bridge, a beautiful spot.
And if you have kids, the Discovery Bay Museum which is on the property down the south, it's amazing for little kids. So much technology to learn. They cut everything in half: cars, blenders, plumbing, so they can learn how everything works.
Nice.
And
nice.
It was, that sounds kids cool. Just loved it. Yeah, it was really. But you can't get in unless you're with a kid, which I love.
He's traveling again, ladies and gentlemen. Johnny Jet is a traveling man. He's been everywhere.
And I learned a few things from this trip, by the way.
Yes.
One is that, first of all, I ended my partnership with Black Lane. So now I'm back to taking ride shares.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. I mean, Black Lane was pretty plush.
Black Lane's still around. It's not that.
Yeah, they're still around. But, I was with them for like 7 years.
They were a sponsor. I've used Black Lane. I love it. I love having a car come and pick you up before you take you to the airport.
I still use them once in a great while.
It's expensive.
I gotta pay, and it's big money.
Yeah, it's expensive.
But from Sausalito to San Francisco, and actually from LAX to our house, first of all, I did Uber XL. I scheduled it. It was the first time I ever scheduled it with Uber, and it was great. Worked great. And then when I got to LAX, I wanted to be picked up curbside. Otherwise, you got to go for a long walk to the rideshare pickup. And if you do a Lux car, you can do curbside. And Lyft was half the price of Uber.
Really?
So keep that in mind. If you're coming to LA, if you don't want to do that long walk or take the shuttle bus, you can just do a Lux car and or a black car. And literally, it was only like $35. So
yeah, you notice that Uber had its first profit ever this quarter.
Congratulations!
And we know now how they raised their prices dramatically.
They did.
And in fact, I remember my friend Stephen Levy was interviewing the newish CEO of Uber, Dara Khosrowshahi, and Steven said, yeah, the ride I just took, Uber ride to come over to this interview from Brooklyn, 3 miles, was $52. And even the CEO of Uber said, oh my God, that's terrible. That's awful.
And then her person was like, no, shh.
But that, by the way, you're right, because that quote became the quote of the story. So
he actually drives sometimes, by the way. He picks passengers up. Doesn't tell him.
Dara does. Yeah, because he wants to see
he used to be the head of Expedia.
No, he's a good guy, and he's really transformed that company. But unfortunately, it's become a premium priced product. So you say Lyft is still a better way to go.
Well, Lyft was cheaper at LAX, but I did love scheduling it, the Uber XL. And, the driver said it does normally cost about $20 more.
Yeah. I always get the XL because we have a lot of luggage, right?
Yeah, I got 2 little kids and, it's just schlepping stuff.
How many?
So that's the way to go.
How many car seats do you have to bring with you?
We just bring a booster.
They're old enough now for the boosters.
Well, Olivia is borderline, so
borderline booster.
Yeah, I'm a borderline booster myself. Yeah.
So we do schlep the car seat when we can.
Yeah.
But there was a big story a couple weeks ago out of Boston Logan where a Hollywood couple got kicked out of the airport after their flight got canceled, and they were going to hunker down and spend the night at the airport. It was Kristen Bell and Dax Shepard.
Why did they get kicked out?
I love them. What?
Yeah, they're great.
They're both great. So their flight got canceled, and they had rolling delays. They kept saying, another hour or whatever.
They're too cool to say, don't you know who I am? Because I would bet if they went to the gate, what are they flying not commercial for?
No, come on.
They're big stars.
You know how much a private jet from Boston to LA costs? At least 40 G's.
She should say, shut the front door. I'm Kristen Bell. Don't you know me from the Good Place?
So are you just not allowed to sleep in an airport? Is that the...
Well, no, some airports you can, some you can't, but they spent $600 on pillows and blankets in the place. They made a little bed. They put it on their Instagram story.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
And then at like midnight, they came over and said, you can't sleep in this side of the airport. You can't sleep post security. Once security closes, you have to go landside, which is terrible because
that's where
there's no carpeting.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it looks like Dak took his sleep aids.
Oh no!
He was getting a little sleepy. Oh my goodness! That is an embarrassing admission for the Logan Airport.
No. Well, so I wrote a story about, if this happens to you, what you can do. Because they posted it on Instagram.
Some airports now have hotels in the airport, which I love.
Definitely. I mean, listen, they tried to get a hotel, but everything was sold up because there was a big storm and there was also a big conference in town. They said within 50 miles, they could not get a room. Yeah. And they actually posted it on Instagram, and Hilton chimed in and said, hey, we can
look at this.
DM
look
us.
at this.
They said, hey, we'll find you a room.
Look at this.
Yeah, they got roasted
sleeping
for that.
bags. No, I don't blame the guards for throwing them out. It looks like they've moved in.
Oh no.
They took over a whole section of the gate.
Yeah. Wow. Well, there's a website they could have gone to called sleepinginairports.net. It's an old website. It's been around for 20 something years, but it has good information, including that, the air side part of the airport closes once TSA closes. So they would have known not to spend all that money on those pillows and try and really find something else, which they did. They ended up finding a friend of a friend, which is one of my tips, reach out to all your friends, but you have to have a backup plan. Like, these guys have so much money. They should have at least booked a hotel room in advance. If it's going to cost them $300, it's worth the risk, of losing it, and then just give it to someone. Call when you get on the plane. If your plane goes off on time, book it in advance. I mean, if you have a lot of money like these guys.
What's the story? There's been a lot of, I saw 2 different examples of people stranded in the plane on the tarmac for hours with no AC, no access to the bathroom. I thought that was illegal. I thought they banned
it is. It is illegal. The airlines are supposed to, they're not supposed to keep you for 3 hours or more. If they do, the airlines get fined $27,000, $27,500 per passenger.
Whoa.
So
that's a lot of money to pay.
There are some, there are obviously some asterisks. And I think weather is one of the problems. If it's unsafe, if there's lightning and the ground crew can't get to the plane. So that's the only area where they can get out of it, but they will get fined. I think one was United, one was Delta.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. And
I expect better of Delta. United, I understand. I expect that from United, but Delta, I expect better.
Everyone says the same thing. But listen, when you fly, you need to make sure you have plenty of snacks, plenty of fluids. Always bring a empty bottle and then fill it up once you're past security. And by the way, LAX, this just 2-3 days ago or 5 days ago, have now started eliminating all plastic bottles for water.
What?
SFO is for everything. LAX is just water, which is kind of a joke. It's like you can still buy.
I always bring my soda. I always bring my metal bottle with me, and then hope that there's going to be a bottle filling station. But not all airports have bottle filling stations.
They don't, and it doesn't taste great in a lot of airports.
Yeah, it's often terrible Texas, water Florida, too. Yeah, but
California too.
I don't want to use plastic bottles. I try not to at all ever.
Right, but I love their new. They have so many aluminum bottles of water. And also glass bottles of soda.
Oh,
I think
that's
it tastes
why.
Better.
You can buy them, but that's just wasteful, really. I mean,
no, it's like when you buy a beer can.
Yeah.
When you buy Bud in an aluminum can, that's water is now in that.
I know. Yes. What was it called?
I keep reading.
Death. It's liquid death.
Yeah.
Yes. Now it explains it. That's why we're starting to see bottling waters in aluminum bottles is because they won't be sold in some airports. Yep. That's interesting. I was wondering.
LAX and SFO. SFO, you can't even buy soda in a plastic.
Yeah, because we're hippies out here. We don't.
Hey, I went to 2 terminals this week in SFO and I loved it.
What do you buy the water in if it's not in plastic bottles? Is metal bottles?
Aluminum.
They're aluminum. They're all aluminum.
If you're getting carbonated.
And there are some glass. And there's also boxed water, which tastes terrible. But
I agree.
Yeah.
They do.
I would prefer to bring my own bottle.
Yep.
The unfortunate thing is you can't fill it before you get to the airport.
Gotta be on the
fill it on the other side of the TSA, which means you're going to have to use the tap water. But, hey, it's federally approved.
Yeah. And
I was drinking water out of fountains in Rome. I can't really complain.
You were?
Oh, yeah. It's good water. It's from the aqueduct.
They actually have an app in Rome for all the where you can find all the springs.
They call them big noses. They're these fountains that stick out of the wall, and they're spring water, and it's delicious.
It's great.
And you can drink it.
We filled up our bottles there last month.
Yeah. You were in Rome last month? You didn't tell me?
Yeah, no, we were in June, end of June. So now 2 months.
We passed like ships in the night. We were there in April.
Yeah, I mean,
where are you going next, Johnny? Can you tell us, or is it a secret?
My wife twisted her ankle last night at the Hollywood Bowl.
What were you seeing?
We went and saw Disney animation.
Oh, with the kids?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. She was going those steps are not easy to go up and down, are they?
They're not, but it actually happened outside walking to the car.
No.
And it was late, just carrying Olivia. They both fell.
Oh dear.
That's why I was running late. That's why I'm in my t-shirt. I just came in from the urgent care with her.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It looks like she only sprained it. And
I'm so sorry. Well, I
anyway,
hope she feels better.
When we do you have more time? Because I do have a question for you guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
A question.
So, I've been keeping this HP laptop that I've had, the Spectra. I've had it for 5 years.
Oh, you and I loved our Spectra. Those beautiful copper laptops. They're so gorgeous looking.
Yes. I mean, I bought a new one over 2 years ago, but I never used it. And I actually just ended up selling it to my cousin Artie.
Oh, and now you need it.
Everybody's got
now I need it.
Now you need it.
Because remember we talked about this battery issue on my flight from Hawaii, and you're like, oh my God, that was dangerous.
Yes,
so
I remember
I got a new battery. I bought it. I installed it. It worked great. And then after a year, all of a sudden it just keeps dying. I'm talking, I cannot unplug my computer and walk to the couch.
So you need a new battery.
Where did you get the battery?
Yeah. Online. I just bought it. I just ordered a new one.
Right.
Actually,
online, get it from HP instead of unnamed Chinese.
I bought it on Amazon.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And so you got a bad battery. I think you get a new one, you'll be all right.
You have two options. You can try to get it from HP, or you can get it from iFixit. That's the
they're trustworthy.
That's where I bought I bought it from iFixit.
That's where you got
recommendation.
You're kidding.
The last one. But it lasted a year.
That should last longer than a year.
And it was great. So I was able to work online for like 44 hours. And then, then it went down to like 40 minutes. And then all of a sudden now it just shuts off. Literally, I take the plug out and boom.
Could there be something else going on where maybe there's whatever's in charge of monitoring the battery is not working as well?
It could be. Somebody's saying, and it's probably true, because it's an older model laptop, that battery probably is the same age as the laptop. So it was sitting on a shelf. So it really wasn't a new battery. And maybe it just didn't have as much oomph as a brand.
But it did work. I mean, it had 4 hours at least.
Yeah. So you want to keep this laptop, or you want to get a new one?
I do, because I use Outlook. I have everything filed, all of my different, I have files for everything.
Yeah, but that will all move over to a new laptop if you get.
He's scared that it won't, though.
No, they say it's going to go online. The whole new Windows is all. Everything's
not yet. It's not yet. Someday. I tell my daughter this. Stop reading the internet. You get some really bad points of view from reading the internet.
All right, then I'll go buy a new computer and try that again. But I also don't like these. I
can't believe you gave Artie your old computer.
Well, I actually sold it to him.
Yeah, we've all got a cousin Artie.
Cousin Artie is always a problem. Yeah, I would say
he loves your show, by the way.
Sorry, Artie.
Sorry, cousin.
We love you, Artie.
Hey, cousin.
No, I would say 6 years old, it's probably time for a new laptop anyway. You could keep buying new batteries, but they're expensive. I think
it was only $40.
Well, you could buy another battery. I'm sure it'll last at least a
maybe reach out. You know what, Johnny? Maybe reach out to iFixit first.
Say, hey, what the hell?
And say, hey,
they're good people.
I want to make sure that this. Yeah, they're really good people.
We know Kyle, and
I want to order a new one, but if it's going to be, if the shelf life is blah 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 blah, let me know.
They should stand behind that.
Yeah, that way, because it should have lasted longer than that.
Okay.
Don't come at him like, you owe me something.
No,
which I don't see him doing that.
You don't do that ever, especially in travel. If you want, the gate agents to help you, you always be kind to them. Do not go at them, because they will make your life miserable.
Before you go, do you have any tips for me on this next Monday? I go in for my passport appointment. I'm finally getting a passport.
Don't be late. I'm telling everyone right now, I've had so many friends call me up and say, listen, I just checked my son's passport and it expires in 2 months. They won't let him in. You have to have a passport that expires 6 months or later, even if you're going for a day. So make sure at your passport appointment, just be on time. Do not be late. Don't miss it. Show up extra early.
cool.
Bring
have
all
all
the
the
things they
documents-
tell you to bring.
Yeah.
Double check.
I've got more than they need to.
Well, man,
this is my
Are we
first
going to
time
Japan?
doing it. This is my
Are you
first
going to
time.
Japan? Where are we going?
No, first probably will be Mexico.
Good.
But
Good.
I
Well,
do
I'm
want
glad
to.
you're getting
Japan
out.
is still
Good.
yes. I'll be reaching out about that.
So set a reminder 9 years from now once you get it to renew it.
Oh wow, it's 9. It lasts 9 years.
10 years.
Well, 10. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
10 years if you're under if you're over 16.
I think
He's
I am
barely over
Yeah.
16.
I know you just made it, but
Yeah.
hey,
16 and a half.
and do not and take good care of that passport. Do not lose it. Do not rip it. You know, my son ripped out the last page of my wife's passport when he was 1 year old. I go, that passport is no longer good. She goes, it was just a blank page. I go, it's invalid.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it was. She had to get a whole new passport.
Wow. And it takes a while. You know.
Yeah.
Don't wait till the last minute.
Expedite it.
Processing times. Yeah.
You can expedite it. Yeah. And if you need it the next day, you can actually go to the passport office.
that.
But that's crazy. Don't do
Yeah.
that.
I don't need to. So yeah, it's not going to be for like next year.
Good.
Way.
You're smart to
later
do
in the
this
year,
now.
So
Well, you never
so
know
one of
when
the
you
most
have to
important
flee the
things-
country. So it's always good to have a passport, a gun, and some cash in your safe. I learned that early on from Jason Bourne. You always have all that stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe a burner phone. Just to know.
Just in case. And one of the most important things with your passport is, after you board the plane, take a minute and put it somewhere safe and remember where you put it.
I'm going to put it in my mouth.
When people are rushing and they just put it in their bag and all of a sudden they pull something out and it just goes with them and you're stuck, man.
I think my
You do
cheeks are
not wanna
wide
lose it.
enough. I can put it in my mouth and just keep it there. And then I'm just kidding. But yes.
Oh, and when you get the
It's-
passport,
scan
get
a
the
copy.
card as well.
I should.
It's good to have.
Definitely.
Do it. Just do it.
That way you can still do a cruise.
I'm paying
out of
for
Florida.
It's only $50 more.
expediting. I'm paying for the.
I think it's $35.
The better shipping.
Why? You got all the time in the world.
I know, but I don't want it to be shipped via USPS and then it gets lost. So I just want to get the best shipping possible.
If you're not in a hurry.
I shouldn't do the expediting probably. I don't
You
need
don't
to.
need
There's
it.
no reason.
You don't need it, yeah.
But what if I need to flee the country, like you said? Kidding. Now I'm not going to get it. But
and by the way, not in bills, gold. Just gold.
Just
I'm
a
saying
gold
gold.
brick.
Gold works everywhere. Yeah.
But
And once you get it, then apply for global entry.
okay. I have
That way
TSA
that way you can-
pre, even though I
Okay,
never
'cause
go
that-
on a plane.
Global entry includes
You
that.
have TSA pre?
Yeah. Why? I don't know.
Yeah. Why did you pay $85? Or
Yeah, I
5 years?
because I thought that I
Thought
would
it'd be
be
a good
going
idea.
to visit my home and see my family.
He never
more
goes
than I do,
anywhere.
but
He
it's,
lives.
Or remember we
And
talked
where
about
is that,
this.
by the way? Where's your home?
St. Joseph, Missouri, which is just
Missouri.
just south of Kansas City, Missouri, MCI.
Gotcha.
So yeah, and no one wants to go there. So the plane tickets are so expensive to go there.
There's no competition.
Yep. So that's
Unless you fly Allegiant or Spirit, which I don't know if you really
Oh
want
God,
to
I
do
would
that.
never fly Spirit.
Yeah, I don't recommend it. Or Frontier.
Yeah, so it's just United is the one that I can go on. Anyway, it's very expensive.
Bring
so.
snacks. That's our
Bring snacks.
Bring
Bring
snacks.
snacks.
That's our advice. Johnny Jet is at johnnyjet.com. You can subscribe to his free newsletters there. Lots of travel advice. It's a wonderful place to hang. He's also got Instagram and X and other stuff.
You know, the AP says you're supposed to say X, comma, the social network formerly known as Twitter.
I am not going to do that.
Yeah, that's
No.
ridiculous.
He's made his X. He's going to sleep in it.
Thank
Thank you, Johnny Jet.
Take care.
Good luck with the battery.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll
let you know.
Let us know what happens. Yeah.
All right.
Tell them Leo and Micah told you to call. They know us.
They do.
We love them.
Like, give me a new battery now.
No, just say, hey, I want to order
Dax
another one, but I want to know if
and
it'll
Kristen
last
Bell
more
said
than the
I
last
could.
one. Yeah. Thank you, Johnny.
Thanks so
All
much.
right, take care.
We're going to have a few more calls and some final words in just a moment. You're watching Ask the Tech Guys, Micah, Leo. We got time for another one. But it should be the best possible question, and not a printer question. You did that to me last week.
About that.
No.
Should I do a voicemail? Do we have a video? Voicemail. Let's try a voicemail.
Hi, Leo and Micah. Peggy in Santa Monica. I've listened to Leo since KFI days.
Thank you, Peggy.
I want a very, very light laptop. I'm thinking of the Lenovo ThinkPad Nano Gen 2 Ultralight needs to be able to run Microsoft 365, so it can't be a Chromebook. Anyway, let me know if that seems like the best choice. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Peggy. That's a very good choice. I'm a big fan of Lenovo. I'm sitting in front of a Lenovo right now. The Nanos are more like the Macs these days, where everything's glued in, nothing's upgradable. That's one of the ways they get it to be thin and light and tiny. But I have no reason not to think these are great laptops. Of course, they'll run Office, no problem at all. They've, the latest Intel processor is 13th gen. I see this one has 11th gen. That's fine. It's better than nothing. I think, one of the ways they keep the costs down on these is maybe offering older processors. That's a good price, though, $719. What you can always do with, first of all, never, ever pay the full price at Lenovo's website, because they always have discounts galore.
Yeah.
And it's just a question of knowing where to find the discount. I would do some Google searches, maybe search on Reddit. You'll find discount codes that are expired, but there's often current discount codes, and sometimes 50% off. I mean, huge discounts. So that's the first thing to do is to shop around with the Lenovo's. The list price on the website is rarely what the cost is. But I think those are very good. I would also look at Johnny's HPs, those Elite books and the Spectres. The very thin HPs are thin, light, and very good. I didn't used to recommend HPs because they had a lot of junkware on them, but these days they've really cleaned up their act, and I think they make very nice computers. I really like the Dell XPS. If you're looking for thin and light, I think the XPSs are also very good. It really depends on how much you want to spend. ThinkPads also come in the X1. This is an X1 Extreme. They come in the X1 Carbon, which is also very thin and light. The Nano is their attempt to make something super, super thin and light. But it sounds like that's the number one priority. So I think that's a pretty good choice. I certainly wouldn't hesitate recommending them. Lenovo's are very, very good. And if you're getting a Lenovo, do always get the ThinkPad. That's their kind of business level brand. And so it's a little more expensive, but also a little bit better built and so forth. So yes, A+, Peggy.
Yeah,
You've done your research.
You did a good job.
Keep up the good work.
That was a good voicemail, John.
Good. It was easy. It was not hard. What are we doing next week, Mr. John Ashley?
I think you guys are going to be talking to good old Sam.
Sam Abul-Samad, our car guy.
Woo. Honk, honk.
Love that. And, of course, lots more of your calls. If you want to get on the show, there's 3 ways to do it. If you're calling during the show's broadcast time, which is 2 to 5 p.m. East Coast time, that's 11 to 2 Pacific, call.twit.tv. It'll be a Zoom call. But you can't leave a message there, right?
Correct. You cannot leave a message.
Okay. Where could you leave a message?
If you'd like to leave a message, well, actually, there are 2 ways technically. I will mention the one that a lot of people know about. It's by calling 888-724-2884 when we are not on air. When you do, you will hear a little message that says, hey, leave a voicemail where you can ask your question. The other option, of course, is just to record yourself asking a question and email us.
Oh, there's a good idea.
atg@twit.tv is the email, and we will get your question. John Ashley will pull it up for us, and we will do our best to answer it.
We love hearing from you. So please do give us a ring and leave a voicemail or call us next week from 2 to 5 p.m. East Coast time. That's when we do the show. You can watch us do it live at live.twit.tv. If you're a Club Twit member, you can also watch in the Discord and chat in the Discord. If you're not a member, of course, IRC is open to all at irc.twit.tv. You don't need an IRC client. You can just use your browser and just point it at irc.twit.tv. After the fact, on-demand versions of the show are available. The old Tech Guy feed still works. So if you were subscribed to the Tech Guy, you should be getting these shows. But you can always go to twit.tv/ATG. That's the page. All the shows will be there. All 1986. Wow, that's a lot of shows. You can go back to 2004 and see what we were talking about way back then. You weren't born then, but we could, I was there. And then, of course, you can also subscribe in your favorite podcast player. That's a good way to do it. That way you'll get it automatically.
Absolutely.
The feed is the same. TechGuyLabs.com still works too. We kept the website. It just points to the page that I just talked about. What else? Is there anything? I hate to end the show. I feel like there's something that there's more to do.
We're missing anything.
The job is not done.
Please subscribe. Call.twit.tv. Twit.tv/clubtwit. Please join the club.
We love it if you're in the club. Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Micah Sargent.
Thank you, Leo Laporte.
You're going on vacation soon?
No.
Good.
No, it's way down the line.
Stay here. I can't do the show without you. Thanks to all of you for being a part of the Tech Guys. We'll see you next time. Have a great Geek Week.
Bye-bye.
Do you want to hear about the latest news happening in the tech world from the people who write the articles, sometimes from the people who are actually making the news? Well, we got a show for you here at twit.tv. It's called Tech News Weekly. Me, Jason Howell, and my co-host Micah Sargent, we talk with some amazing people each and every Thursday on Tech News Weekly, and we share a little bit of our own insights in each of us bringing a story of the week. That's at twit.tv/TNW. Subscribe right now.